Sahel's power play, the AES-Ecowas rift, and its worldwide repercussions. The split between the African Economic Summit, AES, and the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, marks a pivotal moment in the Sahel region's history. This rift, fueled by political disagreements and economic tensions, has sent shockwaves through the global community. Key events leading up to this split include failed negotiations, rising regional conflicts, and diverging economic policies. The potential global impact is immense, affecting international trade, security alliances, and geopolitical stability. Imagine a ripple in the vast ocean of global politics, one that starts in the heart of Africa's Sahel region. Here's where we dive deep into the seismic shift that's not just reshaping West Africa, but could be a prelude to a new world order. Welcome to Mwaki Insights, where we decode the complex, and today we're exploring Sahel's power play, unpacking the AES-Ecowas split, and its global domino effect. Stick around, and if you're new here, consider hitting that subscribe button to join our journey through geopolitical mazes. In January 2024, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, collectively known as the Alliance of Sahel States, AES, announced their departure from the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. This move came after a series of military coups in these nations, leading to economic sanctions from ECOWAS, which they viewed as punitive rather than supportive. The decision was not just about rejecting sanctions, it was a bold statement on seeking autonomy from what these countries perceive as neo-colonial influences, especially from France. The timing of the announcement just before an ECOWAS summit in Abuja was almost theatrical, signaling their resolve. ECOWAS, in response, has been attempting to mend this rift, appointing Senegal's president, Bassirou Diomaye Faye, as a mediator due to his popularity among Francophone African nations for his anti-colonial stance. However, the AES has remained steadfast, with their leaders declaring this move irrevocable on December 14, 2024. The AES states sit at the epicenter of global terrorism, with Burkina Faso experiencing a staggering increase in terror-related deaths by 68% in 2024. This region accounts for 43% of global terrorism fatalities, highlighting the urgent need for effective security strategies. With the departure from ECOWAS, these countries have turned towards Russia for military support, including from the remnants of the Wagner Group, now rebranded but still active. This shift could lead to a new form of proxy warfare in Africa, where security becomes a bargaining chip in international relations. The AES has introduced a new security pact among themselves, aiming to combat terrorism with coordinated military efforts. But the lack of unified regional support might fragment their fight against jihadist groups. The economic implications are profound. Being landlocked, these AES nations rely heavily on trade routes through ECOWAS coastal states. Their exit could lead to higher trade costs, disrupt supply chains, and potentially isolate them economically. There's talk of abandoning the CFA franc, seen by many as a remnant of French colonialism, in favor of a new currency or deeper economic ties with nations like Russia and China. This could be the beginning of a broader de-dollarization movement in Africa, challenging the economic status quo. Humorously, one could say they're choosing between economic isolation or a new dance partner on the global stage, where the dance involves a lot of strategic footwork in economic diplomacy. Diplomatically, this split has led to a reshuffling of allegiances. Senegal and Togo are playing peacemakers, but the AES countries are setting a new tone for diplomacy in Africa, one that's less about following old colonial scripts and more about African solutions to African problems. The narrative here is one of Pan-Africanism, where African nations are increasingly looking inward for solutions and outward for new partners, signaling a decline in French influence. It's like Africa is telling its old dance partners thanks, but no thanks, in a bid for true autonomy. This shift has implications for how Africa interacts with the world, potentially leading to new diplomatic alignments where countries like Russia and China play more significant roles. The AES's move is a microcosm of global shifts towards de-dollarization, where nations look for alternatives to the economic dominance of the West. This could inspire similar actions elsewhere, questioning the global financial system's current structure. As these countries pivot towards Eastern powers for alliances, we might see new global conflicts, or at least a redefinition of global power blocks. This is not just an African story, it's a potential shift in how global politics and economics intertwine. Every action in Africa, like this one, might just echo around the world, influencing everything from trade routes to international security strategies, illustrating how interconnected our global village truly is. If you've enjoyed this deep dive into the complex dance of African geopolitics, hit that like button. For those new to Mwaki Insights, where we unpack the world's geopolitical puzzles, please subscribe for more content that doesn't just inform but also entertains. Remember, every like, share, and subscription helps us keep the conversation going on how today's events shape tomorrow's world. Thanks for watching, and let's keep this knowledge flowing.